What's up, everybody? How's it going? Crystal Towers here. Pat from Crystal Towers here, ready to come at you with another EDH deck tech, this time featuring our boy Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier, one of the most popular commanders from the Final Fantasy set, one of the most popular Final Fantasy icons of all time, and we're just going to jump right into it. He is a 3/3/3 CMC 3/3. When he enters or attacks, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, draw a card. So this deck is going to heavily rely around sacking creatures, and you'll see how that all plays out as we get through the deck. Whenever another creature dies, this could be your creature or an opponent's creature. Target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. No ping, no big deal. If this is the 4th time this has happened, or that this ability has resolved this turn, you transform Sephiroth. Keynote doesn't have to be your turn. It says this turn. Just make your enemies kill each other is a great strategy. But if they won't, then we've got some things. Now, when you transform him, boom! Look at that sexy beast. I mean, anyway, moving right past that. Sephiroth One Wing Angel is a flying 5/5. Got a little power bump. This is not even his final form. But never, anyway. Supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth, one-winged angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. If you do, draw that many cards. Okay, so there are a couple of different directions we can go with this deck, and we kind of blended the two mainstreams and just kind of crushed them into this deck. So hopefully it works. So, there's also Sephiroth. As long as you have a lot of ways to sacrifice creatures and a lot of ways to generate creatures, which we do, we'll talk about them. You're going to be drawing a lot of cards, which is great because that's more sack, more creatures, blah 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 blah. But the real thing you want to do with this, and this is cheeky, is go ahead and kill Sephiroth off. Kill Sephiroth once he hits this. And then bring him back. Like this. And then transform him again and get another emblem. Okay? That's one thing you can do. I didn't really build the deck to abuse that mechanic. There are some things you can do. Conjurer's Closet comes to mind. You just exile him and then bring him back on his normal side and then flip. And then just do it again, right? So Conjurer Closet basically just says, actually, do I have? I think I have it down here. I don't. We'll just look it up. So I know this is kind of a tangent at this point. Oh, it comes up here. All right. So at the beginning of your end step, you may exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. If you do that to Sephiroth, while he's like this, he'll come back like this, and then you can just trigger again and boop, get this emblem again. That is one option you have. I'm just gonna put this in move to considering. It's not how I built the deck, but it's not a bad way of doing it. Oh, my head's in the way. Okay, let's fix my head right quick. We'll put my head down here. Okay. Alright, so now that you kind of know what Sephiroth's doing, yada yada yada, let's talk about how we're gonna get there. So the first thing we need is creatures to sacrifice. And we've got that down here in the reunion section. You get it? Because it's like the reunion brought a lot of... Anyway, so we're starting off with Bitter Blossom. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and create a 1/1 black fairy rogue creature token with flying. Just something that you can sacrifice. Let me check why my music stopped. There it is. Sorry, guys. Trying to make the thing more entertaining. So yeah, just boom boom. Dread Horde Invasion. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life and amass zombies 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on an army you control. It's also a zombie. If you don't control an army, create a 0/0 black zombie army creature token first. Whenever a zombie token you control with power 6 or greater attacks, it gains lifelink until the end of turn. Now, this is this does give built-in options where you can just build a really big creature if you need to, or you can just keep sacking it and then every turn getting a new creature so that you can sack. We're probably gonna do the latter rather than trying to proc this, but you know, we love options. Jadar, Ghoul Caller of Nephalia. I'm almost 100% sure I got that right. I guess that means I'm 98% sure I got that right, and you all should be impressed, and you should like the video and subscribe for more of me maybe butchering magic cards. Who knows? Anyway, I digress. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no creatures with decay, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay. It can't block. When attacked, sacrifice it at the end of combat. Again, we're just creating a bunch of stuff. Now, you can sack this, pretty sure, right? Whenever a creature dies, blah 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 blah. Whenever Sephiroth, okay, so it's when he attacks you sacrifice. So a little slow, but it still gets there. Liliana Dreadhorde General. This is a planeswalker. Whenever a creature you control dies, draw a card. So that's going to be in addition to, like, if you sack it, it still dies. You're still going to draw a card. So this is just more massive card draw for you. +1 is what we really care about. Create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Boom, just another token to be sacked to Sephiroth's greatness. But you can also -4. Each player sacrifices 2 creatures of their choice. That's going to let you sack 2, and it's actually going to sack 2 of everybody else, which this could proc that really easily. And yeah, I mean, that's just going to make that's going to be really gross if, you know, if there's a pot of 4 and everybody, including you, has 2 creatures, you know, that's 8. I know you guys can do simple math. I just want to point out there, like, it does do. Oh wait, we're not done with Liliana. Sorry, I'm kind of bouncing, whatever. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and sacrifices the rest. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't get her to 9, but if you can get her to 9, then you could just live that dream, you know? And then let me know about it, because I don't know if I've done that yet, and it's still on my bucket list. Let me Google my bucket list real quick. Yep, it says right here, my bucket list is still to get Liliana Dreadhorde General, so we're not quite there yet. But maybe with this deck we'll get there. I almost said Oppenheimer for this, but that, you know, going back to reading magic cards correctly, Ophiomancer. I'm going to give it to me. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you control no snakes, create a 1/1 black snake creature token with Death Touch. This is particularly good if you're already uh, da, 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 da. I keep misreading. I keep in my head misreading Sephiroth that I could just sack a creature. And again, my music just stops unless I'm like actively holding that open. So I'm just gonna I don't know. Trying to be entertaining for you guys, damn it. Anyway, yeah, so you're just getting a snake token every turn. You'll have ways to sacrifice it, and yeah. Orcish Bowmasters. You know, it's crazy, I actually almost mispronounced that. Anyway, has flash, 1/1. When this creature enters, and whenever an opponent draws a card except the first one they draw in each of their draw steps, this creature does 1 damage to any target, then amass 1 orcs. I thought this was a dumb card to be on the Game Changer list until I played it, and I saw this thing just go off. So it is actually really good. It is a Game Changer card, however, so if you're not looking to play in Bracket 4, which all my decks are pretty much Bracket 4 or higher, like, well, Bracket 4, I can't really go higher. And I don't do CEDH. I'm not good enough. But yeah, this is a great card. The 1 damage is cute, but really just getting the orc and then sacking it continuously is just going to be great. And you can sack it with this trigger on the stack. This, because it says win, this is a trigger, so this goes on the stack. Go ahead and sack that other orc that you know, that is brought in off the first card draw, and then just sack it and make another one and then sack it again. You got options, man. Just live the dream. You're rich when you play Sephiroth. Pawn of Ulmok. Whenever this creature or another non-token creature you control dies, you may create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. It has sacrifices token. I almost said Crocient. add colorless. Okay, so a little mana rampy. Um, it's nice that it also triggers off his death, and again, it's just you can. What I like again is options. You can sacrifice the token for mana, or you can sacrifice it to appease Sephiroth, your one-winged angel god thingy. All right, so now we've got some idea of how we're going to get all these massive creatures, in addition to all the other creatures we're going to have, of course, because we have more than this. Um, Now let's talk about how we're going to get these guys from the battlefield to the graveyard, and we're going to look at our sacrifice. And you'll notice that there's a lot of them here. And it's not all of them, because some of them are in the combo wombo section, which we'll talk about in just a second. Just hold up. Alright, so sorry, just trying to decide if I had to sneeze or not, so I'll probably sneeze mid-sentence now. Okay, so Curse Marauder, you might recognize him and remember him from the good old Squall deck that we made a couple weeks ago. When this creature enters, each player sacrifices a non-creature of their choice. You can just sack him to himself. You know, he comes on the battlefield, triggers, you just sack him in response to his own trigger. Perfectly fine. But maybe it's cool. But it also gets rid of everybody else. But this guy's just gonna come in and immediately sacrifice himself. So use him when you got to. Astnod's Altar. This is really gonna be a game changer for this deck. It is going to let you sacrifice a creature and add 2 colorless. This just lets you sack a creature. If you don't need the colorless, but you get Sephiroth going, great. If you can use the creatures to fuel your next card play, that's even better. Let's go. Okay. Um, I Ayara, first of Lotch 1. I'm pretty sure I'm like 98% sure I mispronounced everything in there except first and of. Anyway, for 3 black, you get a 2/3. Whenever she or another black creature you control enters, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. That sounds very familiar. Oh yeah, that's Sephiroth's ability. Okay, great. So we're just doubling down on Sephiroth's ability, which we do have a section of that coming soon. You'll see in the next section that we go over. You can tap her and sacrifice another black creature and draw a card. So you just get draw effect, and then you'll probably have something else to let you draw a card. You got Liliana out there, you get to draw another card. It's just card draw, card draw, card draw. I mean, you could card drawing like you're a blue player, I hope. So that's her. Braids are Artisan Nightmare. Now, this, I'm on the fence about. This would be who I'd switch out for Conjurer's Closet if you wanted to go like the Blinky route with Cloud. Not Cloud, Sephiroth, sorry. They're the same thing, right? I mean, damn it. Anyway, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, or enchantment. Sorry. You may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent of their choice that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw 2 cards. Okay. It's an okay sack outlet. It's not the best. It is a cuttable card in my opinion. It happens at your end step. You have to pick one, and really you want to pick creature if you're trying to proc Sephiroth. But, hey, maybe you need to get rid of their planeswalker. But they can just say, oh, I like my planeswalker. I'll just take 2 damage and let you draw a card. So, I don't like it. It's fine. It's an okay card, but this might actually, before the final deck actually gets playtested on Monday night, either this week or next week, this card might be out for Conjurer's Closet. I'm not even gonna lie. So just keep that in the back of your head. But it's there. All right. So we'll move on. Braids Cable Minion. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land of their choice. No downside to this. You're gonna make them sacrifice, and then you get to sacrifice to trigger your dude, man. Just keep it going. And look how crazy this bitch is. I mean, if that thing runs at you, you run. Like, you run and draw your 9 mil. Like, that's your only option. Alright. Flashback Marauder basically does what a Curse Marauder does, which is when this creature enters, each player sacrifices a creature of their choice, but you already know how we're using that. Same, but different. Now, Shieldred. This is an interesting one. She has Swamp Walk, which means if other players are playing, Swamps. Sorry, did you see my brain? Like, that wasn't the internet that just buffered out. That was my brain that buffered out. Anyway, if this creature can't be blocked as long as a defending player controls a swamp. So, another black player, you'd be like, aha, you can't stop me. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Like a Cursed Marauder would be pretty cool, because then it would come onto the battlefield and sacrifice itself. Anyway, or something else, whatever. Um, but at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature of their choice. We're not trying to keep the creatures off the board as much as we were with Squall, but you know, the less creatures they have, the better we feel about our life. And then again, just bring back a creature to sack again. Skull Clamp, always a great one. Equipped creature gets +1, -1. The -1's really important here because, like, all those little fairies that Blitter Blossom keeps up, well, we can just equip this onto that and it will instantly die. But when that creature dies, draw 2 cards. So Bitter Blossom gives us a fairy, we equip Skull Clamp for 1, we get to draw 2 cards and proc whatever Sephiroth's doing. You know, either side. Either side's got some sort of procky thing that we're trying to do. Now this is Yawgmoth, Thrawn Physician. Well, this is really, it's the Emperor Hell's Tyrant masquerading as Yawgmoth Thrawn's Physician. Or, I don't know. Maybe I was right the first time. I don't know. We'll think about that right up here and we'll get back to you. We'll maybe do a survey down below. Anyway, protection from humans. So, you know, basically every Final Fantasy character that matters. Whoa. Just triggered somebody. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature. Oh, okay, so we just pay a life, sacrifice another creature, and put a -1/-1 counter on top of 1 target creature and draw a card. Up to 1 other target creature. Okay, so we just putting a 1/1 on a -1/1 on a creature. We get to sack a creature, which was proccing Sephiroth, and we get to draw a card. This is just a win. We can also pay 2 and discard a card to proliferate. So, you know, if it's a big creature and we don't have enough creatures, maybe we got enough mana. So, did you ever think about that, Kyle? Anyway, Seer. You gotta give that one to me. I mean, it doesn't matter. I messed up like 2 times. You know, 3rd time's a charm. You know, whatever. Sacrifice a creature. Well, there you go. Boom. Scry 1. Not the greatest ability in the world, but it lets you sack a creature whatever you want to. So that's what we're all about. Yahini, Undying Partisan. This is another card that might come out of the deck, but I just kind of like it. I just kind of, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know. I don't like to commit all into one strategy. I like to be like 92% into one strategy. And like a little 8% be like, hi, you weren't expecting this little sideshow. He has haste. Whatever creature an opponent controls dies. Put a +1/+1 counter on Yahini. Yahini. Sounds like a drink. Yo, let me get a Yahini for 2, please. Sacrifice another creature. Yahini gets indestructible until end of turn. Well, okay, well, there you go. Just boom, boom, boom. Okay, so we've got our reunion, which is bringing us a bunch of creatures that we're going to sacrifice to our god Sephiroth, our angel. He's our angel. So anyway, we're getting that going. Now, let's talk about a couple other cool stuff in the deck. Mostly, let's talk about the Supernova. Why is this called Supernova? Well, if you notice, this ability is called Supernova. Well, these are things that basically do what Supernova does. So, when this enchantment enters, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Boring. Next line. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. What? It's just like Sephiroth's Supernova. Oh, okay, that's why we got the category going. All right, cool. So you see how that's working. So I've got 3 hard cards in here, but I have another card that is part of the combo wombo that will also do this. So there's really 4 cards at least that will do this thing. So stack up the Supernova off of the Supernova emblem, and then you're just going to town, just sacking creatures, because that's what you do. You've been doing that all day. Like, initially, sacking creatures is how you get to Supernova territory, but once you get Supernova, like 1, 2, 3, or 4 going, and like every time you sack one of your little creatures, you're drawing cards and doing like 4 damage to everybody and getting back, you know, 4 times 3, 12 life. It's gross. It's gonna be a problem for people. You know how like we have a bomb section, which we're gonna get to in a minute. You are kind of the bomb here. So the caveat being, remember, when I say that we play a bomb, it's things that a bomb is something that your opponents have to deal with, at least they die. So you have become that bomb. You will get aggro because of this, especially if you start going off. They will kill you, but maybe you'll kill them faster. Another card. Nope, never mind. Sorry. Drivnod Carnage Dominus. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. So, it does a supernova on its own, but it will make supernova go bigly. Especially if you've got Bastion and multiple triggers going off. Yeah, it's going to, if you've got two emblems, this is going to trigger for both of them. So you're going to get 4 activations of Supernova. Again, it's just going to double down and be really gross. You can also exile 3 creatures from a graveyard and put an indestructible counter on this thing to make sure he doesn't go anywhere. That's up to you. You know, we like options. And then, what would Sephiroth be without the Masse Moon? As long as equipped creature is attacking, it has first strike and must be blocked if able. Equipped creature has, if a creature dying causes a trigger ability of this creature or an emblem you own to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Yeah, so maybe put this on, like, I don't know, Blood Artist, which we're going to talk about in a minute, and then just really go to town. Like, this, I'm telling you guys, I've seen this thing get out of hand, and it gets gross. And you die. Obviously, real quick, we'll just talk about our tutors. We've got 1 tutor here, 1 tutor here. Basically let you get any card. They're both on the game changer list, so people aren't going to be mad if you're not playing a bracket 4 and you're running all of this stuff. Um, but, you know, search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Search your library for a card, then shuffle and put that card on top of it. It's an instant. Play this right before your turn, please. Don't play it on your turn. You don't need to play it on your turn. You play this on your turn, because it's sorcery. But don't play this on your turn. Okay, so we've got all of that done. Let me take a little sippy cup, real quick. Alright, and I know I'm kind of bringing my Twitch energy into this, that I'm not, but I'm trying to make this a little bit more lively for everybody involved. We have 2 removals. We have Deadly Rollock, which if you control a commander, you may cast this spell without paying its mana cost. You can exile a target creature, so you might get a free cast off that. You also have Overkill. This is more for Final Fantasy flavor at this point, but target creature gets -0, -9999 till end of turn. There's always that one creature that has indestructible or some crazy shenanigans that you just need to just give him, you know, a lot of negatives, you know? Um, Dark Ritual, you play it, you can add 3, you know, gives you a little boost if once. Um, Puppets. Puppets are interesting because they don't die, sort of. So this creature can't block. This creature has haste as long as your opponent has 10 or less life. Whenever a land you control enters, you may return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. I mean, this is basically just coming back to be sacrificed. So, you know, that's kind of the idea here. So then 9 lives as a familiar does kind of a similar thing. This creature enters with 8 revival counters on it if you cast it. When this creature dies, if it had a revival counter on it, return to the battlefield with 1 fewer revival counters at the beginning of your next end step. So it just keeps coming back for at least, you know, 9 times, 8 times, to just get sacked again. Let's go to combo wombos, because I know that's what everybody's really eyeing. Hope I don't forget anything. Apologies if I do. Blood Artist. Whenever this creature or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Wow, that's just like Supernova. This is actually who I would equip the Messing Moon on, because it's just gonna get gross. So why combo wombo? Well, let's talk about the combo wombo-y. Bum 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 bum. I don't remember them. I'm not even gonna lie. Let me see. Sorry, unprofessional AF. But I can pull them up right quick. They're written down for me. Combo. So, where it be? Okay, so, yes. So, we have Blood Artist, and then we have Grave Crawler, which says, this creature can't be blocked. We don't really care about this. You may cast this card from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. So, you need a zombie to do that. And here's our zombie. So, got a zombie. Pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, create a treasure token. If it is an artifact, sack this token, add 1 mana. Okay, so here's what you basically do. You have Blood Artist out, you have Grave Crawler, and you have Warren Soul Trade. You pay 1 life and you sacrifice Grave Crawler, which will then trigger Blood Artist, dealing 1 damage to target opponent and giving you back that 1 life. You will also get a treasure token. Um, Now, that treasure token can be used for Gravecrawler because he only costs 1 black. So then you sack the treasure token to cast Graveyard Crawler, and then you pay 1 life and you sack him again, and then you just keep repeating this until everybody at the table is dead. If they can't interact with this, they die. So, that is one of your combo. We're going to talk about another combo, which is my favorite. Exquisite Blood. Whenever an opponent loses life, you gain that much life. Well, they're going to be losing a lot of life just randomly because the emblem, the blood artist, everything. You sack a creature and they lose 1 life, right? Cool. Okay. But when they lose 1 life and you have exquisite blood out, you're going to gain a life. And then if you have sanguine bond out, whenever you gain a life, target opponent loses that much life. Oh, okay. So I'm going to gain a life, then they're going to lose a life, but then I'm going to gain a life, and then they're going to lose a life, and it's just blah 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 dead. Okay. So that's another 2-piece combo. Another piece combo that we have is, so you've already seen this guy, Warren Soul Trader, but now we're also going to look at Forsaken Miner. This creature can't block. Again, we don't really care. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay black. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Excuse me 1 sec. Sorry, I had a call. When you commit a crime by targeting an opponent, anything that controls and or attacks in their graveyard is a crime. Or you target an opponent or anything they control and or cards in their graveyard is considered committing a crime, right? So when you have Sephiroth, right? Sephiroth says whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Even better if you've already got the emblem out because then it doesn't even matter if Sephiroth's on the battlefield anymore. Because it says target opponent, you have to pick one, so you're committing a crime. So it's kind of the same thing with Blood Artist and the combo we just talked about, Grave Robber. Is that what his name is? Grave Crawler. It's almost the exact same thing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna use the Warren Soul Trader to pay 1 life and sacrifice this creature. Okay, so he goes into the field, and if you've got Blood Artist out, or if you've got Sephiroth out, or the Emblem out, or the Bastion of Remembrance, you target an opponent to lose 1 life, which now allows you to sack that treasure token you got off of Warren Soul Trader and bring this guy back, rinse and repeat, and you kill everybody. Okay, that's a lot of combo. There's 7 combo pieces in here, and some of them are interchangeable, okay? So have fun with that. And hopefully I did a good enough job of explaining it. Just remember, Exquisite Blood and Sanguine Bond are their own combo, and everything else kind of Warren Soul Trader with Sephiroth or Blood Artist or Bastion Remembrance can trigger with Forsaken Miner and or Gravecrawler. So hopefully y'all got that, and that's not like super duper confusing, because then that means I made a terrible video and you should fire me. Uh, so we've got that. Death awaits you. I did steal kind of a line from Seymour, but it's just so thematic. So these cards are both going to do the same thing. This one has flash though, and I think costs 1 less. Flash. Uh, Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. This is really sick. This is a sick, twisted person who would put this in this deck, knowing that I'm going to be sacrificing a bunch of my creatures. So I'm just going to sack my creatures, sometimes in order to sack one of your creatures. So with this out, I'm actually going to be sacking 2 of your creatures for 1. That's just... Who made this deck? That person is mental and probably should go to a hospital or something, but you didn't hear that from me. And then Grave Pat does the exact same thing. Actually, this is 1 less. Yes, this is actually 1 less, but it doesn't have flash. So it does the exact same thing. Whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature of their choice. It's just really sick to just put all that together. So we got our combo, we got our sacrifice, we got our supernova, we got our tutors, we got our reunions, our removal, our ramp, our puppet, our death awaits you, which is basically just ways to just kill. We'll do mana ramp in a minute. Let's just go ahead and talk about 2 board wipes. Damnation, destroy all creatures can be regenerated. Pretty simple. If the board gets out of hand and you aren't ready for it, bye. And then this is a fun one. Zodiac Umbral God. Indestructible. When Zodiac enters, each player sacrifices half the non-god creatures they control of their choice rounded down. Whenever a player sacrifices another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Zodiac. So he comes in, he's basically going to do like a pseudo board wipe, which I still put him in the board wipe category. And, sorry. And in doing that, uh, you're now going to have a creature on the board that, he's already on the board, by the way, when the sacrifice goes off. So the second part of this ability, which gives him +1/+1 counters, is going to resolve after he just board wiped everybody. Um, and then, as you continue to keep sacrificing creatures to generate, to sack your opponent's creatures and to get Sephiroth going, this guy's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and, you know, maybe usher in the final days. I don't know. That's up to you. You decide how you want to play that. And then we got some bombs. Bombs are, like I said, when they happen, you have to deal with them, or you risk killing the table. Or so rather your opponents have to deal with them, rather they was dying. Um, some of these are not, some of these are creatures, but some of them happen like instantly and it doesn't matter. So like, for instance, Grey Merchant of Asphahad? Still? I don't know, whatever. Grey Gary is what we call him. Whenever this creature enters, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. So if you have enough devotion, you can kill or nearly kill somebody. Um, so unfortunately for your opponents, they only get to deal with this while it's on the stack. Once it hits the field, it's going to do its effect, and then you just have a 2/4. Unless you blink him, which might be another reason to run Conjurer Closet. I'm starting to like that card more and more, and so might be an update. I'll put a pin in the, I'll make a top comment and a pin anytime I update my decks. Um, so this, you know, unless you have Conjurer Closet out, this is already going to do its thing. But if your opponents are out there and you do have a Conjurer Closet, they have to deal with this because they can't let you blink this thing over and over again. That will kill them. Tergrid, God of Fright. He has Menace. He's a 4/5. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card from the graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Holy hell, they cannot have you be sacrificing all, forcing them to sacrifice all of their creatures and or permanents and then giving them to you. That is just not a thing they can have happen, but you know, if they want to, by all means. So this is a great way to have them waste a kill spell. They have to get rid of this, they have to deal with it, and if they don't, let's just have a good time because that's what you're going to be having and they're not. It also has the flip side. Target player loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent of their choice or discard, and then you can untap him. I mean, you might find a reason to play this, but for real, we're just trying to get this out there and just go, thank you for all your things. It's not stealing if they give it to you, okay? That's all on them, okay? Torment of Hellfire, this is a recurring awesome card. I used to consider this a win card, and it can be definitely just like Gary if you play it at the right time. But for 2 black and then an X, repeat the following process X time, which could be, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Each opponent loses 3 life unless that player sacrifices a non-land permanent of their choice or discards a card. You might not kill people, but you'll definitely wreck them, especially if X is 5 or more. That's gross. And you're definitely gonna, you know, what I have seen most often or not, people will, like if you cast this for 5, and so they've got 5 triggers, you know, they're looking like, okay, so 15 damage. I have to resolve each trigger individually, so maybe I'll take 3. Maybe I'll take 9 damage. That resolves 3 of them. So now I'll discard, and I'll sack this thing. That's usually what happens somewhere in that mix, but you're still like messing up everything all over the place. And like again, if you can get this higher than 5, oof, that's rough. Sorry. Sorry about all that. Okay. Was that all the... Oh, Vincent Valentine. I think this is hilarious to put Vincent in this, working for Sephiroth, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just had to happen. So whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, oh wow, that seems to happen a lot in this deck. Um, put a number of +1/+1 counters on Vincent Valentine equal to that creature's power. Well, I hope we get to sack a jumbo cactor. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, whenever Vincent Valentine's attack, you may transform it. So he's a 2/2, but some +1/+1 counters because you made him sack things. Oh wow, now he's got trample, lifelink, and when Galleon Beast dies, return to the battlefield tapped face up. Okay, so this is just a guy who's attacking and not going away. Oh, maybe you can just sack him, or maybe you can transform him, get some damage in, and or if he gets blocked or killed, just sack him, and then he'll just come back like this. What a beautiful card. Anyway, last but certainly not least, before we get into like the well, no, sorry, we have a few more things. This video is going long because I'm kind of rambling and I'm like bringing in my Twitch energy instead of my like serious deck building energy. I don't know which one you guys like more, but take it or leave it. Whenever a creature you control dies, you draw a card and lose one life. Dark Prophecy. Well, you are going to be losing a lot of life, but a lot of the emblems is just going to stack up to give you life, especially since you're going to be targeting multiple people. I did make a comment one time that if I was wrong earlier in the video, I made a comment to like with Sephiroth, you can just you got 4 opponents, you're going to be able to get like 4 life back. That's not true because whenever it's a target opponent, so it's not hitting the whole table all at once. I apologize. Uh, I'm sure everybody screamed in their head and made like nasty little comments of correcting me, but I'll just remind you that if you stayed paying attention to the video, I corrected myself. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I, I don't know how to build decks. Anyway, Bala Citadel, but we have to run as Kafka's Towers because it's just flavorful. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. You may cast a spell this way. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana value rather than pay its mana cost. So again, it's draining, but it does let you play from the top of your library. You can also sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Wow, that would really trigger Sephiroth. Whew. Then each opponent loses 10 life. Imagine sacrificing 10 creatures. Wow, that was thunder in the background. It's like God heard me. He's like, you're not sacrificing anything. Uh, them were the old days. If you know, you know. Anyway, each opponent loses 10 life. And then stack up with Sephiroth's thing. It can be great. Morbid opportunities. Also, look at this art. It's pretty awesome. Whenever one or more other creatures dies, draw a card. This ability triggers only once each turn, but that could also mean your opponent's turn. And then I put the One Ring and everything because it's awesome. When the One Ring enters, if you cast it, you gain protection from everything until your next turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, you will lose 1 life for each burden counter on the One Ring. You can tap it, put a burden counter on the One Ring, then draw a card for each burden counter on the One Ring. Now I just noticed something. I think in a Magic Arena, it forces me to pay 1 and to tap it. We're gonna have to investigate that because I definitely remember thinking while playing in Magic Arena that I didn't realize I had to tap 1 to tap the ring, and that kind of slowed down my game plan. So we're gonna definitely look at that. Maybe they errated it on MTGA, but we're definitely so I might have said MTGO. I mean Magic the Gathering Arena. So we're definitely gonna have a look at that later after this video and see what's up with that because yeah, there's clearly no mana cost here. Anyway, I digress. I think that's everything. We have mana ramp. So we got some things that so the difference between ramp and mana ramp. I've said this before, but it's worth saying each video. Ramp means this is giving me more mana this turn, right now, right here, and then we're done. It's no more acceleration. It's just this one time. Whereas mana ramp is giving me acceleration turn after turn after turn. So like a mana dork. So it also includes reductions. I used to put mana reduction in a different category, but now I've just combined them because they basically do the same thing. So I know it's not exact, but bear with me. We can't have like 1,000 categories with just one card. That just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so Kurth, son of Yawgmoth, masquerading as Emet-Sek, the Ascian. Um, One of the best Final Fantasy villains of all time, maybe of any genre, not genre, video game ever. My opinion. Don't kill me. Don't crucify me in the comment. He has lifelink. He's a 2/2. For each black and a cost, you may pay 2 life rather than pay that mana. That's amazing. That gives you a lot of control over what you play. And whenever you cast a black spell, put a +1/+1 counter on Kirk. Now I know you're like, wow, that's going to drain a lot of my life. It is, but for every mana that you spend like that, oh sorry, for every time you cast a black spell, you're putting a +1/+1 on a creature that can swing that has lifelink. So get your life back, boo boo. Anyway, it's a great card. He can go off. Jet Medallion, very, very sick art for this, by the way. Black spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So it's, every pretty much every spell in your deck is black, except for your colorless ones. And even they act like they're black sometimes. Uh, Pitless Plunderer. Whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure token. Wow, this is a pretty good card, if I do say so myself. And then the Darkness Crystal. Black spells you cast cost one less to cast. So again, just reducing that mana. If a non-creature token an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and you gain 2 life. Wow, so that can get out of hand in this deck for shizzle. And then for 6, you can tap the Dark Crystal and put target creature card exiled this way from the Dark Crystal onto the battlefield tapped under your control with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it. Again, play with their stuff. It's not stealing if they give it to you. And if they didn't want to give it to you, they wouldn't let it die. So, maybe remind them of that if you don't want to have any friends. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We go Arcane Signet, Chrome Mox, Crowd Crypt. We're doing this instead of Mana Vault, right? Mana Vault, not Mana Crypt. Yeah, Mana Crypt span, so Mana Vault. I don't really like Mana Vault in all my decks, so I'm trying to find an alternative. But for now, it seems like every deck more or less might have one mana ramping card that's uniquely specific to that deck, and that's what we'll be talking about in future videos, and not like we'll just glance over the other ones like we've done, because everybody knows what a Soul Ring is, right? Right? Y'all know what a Soul Ring is. Okay, anyway. So, you can tap this to add black. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a corpse counter on this artifact. Okay, well, we have a lot of creatures that die, so a lot of corpse counter. Got it. So you can pay 6 and tap, sacrifice this artifact, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay for each corpse sacrificed this on this artifact. Okay, so we sack a bunch, we put like 20 counters on this thing, and then we sack this thing, and then we get 20 creatures. Wow, that seems pretty good. It seems really good, especially if we can get Bola Citadel to sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Oh wow, that seems pretty good. Uh, and then of course we have our Mox Diamond and our Soul Ring. That is literally everything. Nothing super impactful here in the lands. We've got our Ancient Tomb. It is a game changer. Um, Cavern of Souls, obviously humans, Sephiroth, just a couple other humans in here. Gemstone Cavern is pretty nice. Let you get a land out there early on. Cable Coffers, I was running this in every black deck, and then I realized this is just a mono black deck when you tap 2 and then you tap to add mana for black for each swamp you control. So we've got 32 swamps, so I think we'll be fine. Phyrexia Tower, this lets you sacrifice a creature, but only lets you sacrifice once per turn because you have to tap the Phyrexian Tower, but it's still a sack outlet, and it does let you get 2 mana instead of 1. Strip Mine in case you need to destroy something that they've got. And then we're running 32 of the Final Fantasy V Swamp. This is the ghost ship. It's pretty awesome. Takun, Takin, Takinuma Abandoned Mire. Look, I don't know what y'all want from me. Y'all know I can't read. I got a South Carolina education, and this is the best I can do, okay? This is an okay card. It lets you discard. You can discard this to mill 3 cards and return a creature card or a planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. It's really nice if, they just killed your Liliana and then you can just bring her back. I'm just saying, that's how I would use it. And then Urza Saga, comes out as a land, then you get a little creature, and then you go get your Soul Ring. So it's pretty sweet. And that's pretty much the whole deck. I will buy this on MTGO and put it together and stuff, and then we'll have some games. Probably not this week. I don't know. Haven't decided. I still kind of want to play Squall, but I also kind of want to play Yuna. And yeah, but that's pretty much it. This is Sephiroth Fable Soldier. I don't know what turn he wins on. I haven't play tested it like that. I've been kind of slack 'cause I've been trying to get these videos up because there's so many Final Fantasy commanders to build, and I haven't even scratched, like, I just barely touched them, right? Like, I still have Lightning. Um, I guess I just have like. No, I'm just joking. I have like some other guys. I want to do Lightning. I don't think Aerith will make it, but Tifa might. Tifa's pretty crazy. Cloud. Of course, people are gonna want me to do Cloud. I'm gonna look at some of the Final Fantasy IX commanders and see if we can make something happen. There. Uh, Terra is gonna be a great card to build around. Um, And I actually might do a Tita's deck. I'm not entirely sure. It seems too much like Yuna, same thing but different. And I put a lot of work into Yuna, and I kind of like don't want to revisit that. But we'll see. In any event, at Crystal Tower Games, on Mondays between like 9 p.m. and 11 to 12 p.m. a.m. We play MTGO, where we play the decks that we talk about on this channel. So if you're interested in that, you can catch us live. If you can't catch us live, you can go to the Twitch, and it'll still be in the video library, and we will upload some videos and link it to this video here, so you can check back or just check around. Um, but yeah, appreciate you guys viewing this, and I will see you for the next Commander. Peace.